In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about preparedness. One of the best ways you can be prepared is to have a first aid kit. First aid kits come in all different shapes and sizes. We're going to talk a little bit about what you need more of, what you need less of. We'll show you exactly what we have in our first aid kit. One of the things that we've been hearing recently is people are unaware of when we drop a new video and they're trying to keep up with our information. They really like our content, but it kind of surprises them when they've missed a video. One of the things that you can do to help mitigate that issue is to click on the bell icon. The bell icon is going to make sure that you're informed when we have a new video drop and you'll stay current with everything. So go ahead and give it a click and you'll be on the same page. Let's go ahead and get into the first aid kit and exactly what we like to carry. So first of all, talk a little bit about the bag. I got this bag through Gossamer Gear. It is waterproof, so any of your important elements in here are not gonna get wet and ruined when you need them the most. So make sure you have a nice waterproof bag. This one also has a waterproof zipper, that way it is actually waterproof. So I'm gonna open it up, I'm gonna start emptying it out. And I do actually use Ziploc bags inside of here. Even though it's waterproof, this is just helping me keep things categorized so it's not just one kind of cluster of mess inside a bag that I have to dig through. I can kind of just take everything out and it's not all willy-nilly everywhere. This first bag, I've got a couple sterile gauze pads in case we have an actual cut or scrape or burn that actually needs some attending to. I don't think that I need very many of them, so I just have a couple. And then in this bag, I have a bunch of Band-Aids. I have 4 to 5 of a bunch of different sizes. So from the quarter size dots down to small Band-Aids, down to the normal size Band-Aids you are probably thinking of in your head. In here I also have some triple antibiotic ointment. So these little deals that you kind of like fold them in half and they puncture and there's a little bit of a pad on them. The ointment seeps into the pad, you can rub the pad on the wound. So that's gonna be able to help you keep things from getting infected and nice and clean. Speaking of clean, I've got alcohol swabs. So Matt actually did have a small cut, nothing serious. It could have gone unattended to, but why would you do that when you can attend to it? Clean it off with an alcohol pad. Everything's nice and neat before you go to ointment, before you go to bandage. That way you're not just covering up something that's dirty. So that's what's in the first bag. Let's see what else we got in here. This has been a friend of mine. So I'm still working out some details with my shoes and my socks and my feet. I've gotten a couple blisters, nothing that's been really debilitating, but definitely something that's been, I've needed to tend to. I have Dr. Friedrich's original Better Blister bandages. These particular bandages, I could not recommend more. Everything else I've used just comes off, rips off, ends up causing more blisters. These are fantastic. And it has different shapes and sizes. That way you can cover whatever blister you have appropriately, from long and narrow to a little bit more circular with some decent coverage to get good adherence. And the one that I've used the most, because mine have all been on the heel, is this. And I can basically cover the entire backside of my heel. And when you put these on, it's like another layer of skin. When you put them on, it's like having a super thick layer of skin that's not gonna rub and doesn't peel up on the edges. These are excellent. I did have to restock this after the first trip because I used a couple of the heel ones, and that's something you want to think about, is making sure if you do use stuff when you get back from a trip, you're checking in on to topping everything back up. I'll talk a little bit about that more at the end of the video. Next thing we've got in here, I have Imodium. If we have any stomach and GI issues on the trail, we are able to take care of those. If you get a case of diarrhea out there, it's not good. Become dehydrated, very uncomfortable, messy to say the least. So a little bit of Imodium is nice to have with you. I have a couple antacids in here in case anybody gets heartburn and that kind of thing. Again, it's just really uncomfortable to be in the kind of circumstances you're in, exerting yourself physically with heartburn. Doesn't take a lot of those, but that's what we've got in there. We have a tick check and tick removal tool. So this tool is specifically to get ticks off your body. When we were in Maine, that was definitely a possibility. There's 2 tools in here. One is for your normal sized tick, and the other is for nymphs or really, really small ticks. This will come in and out of the kit depending on what season we're in and depending on where we are. If your water filter freezes or you drop it, or man, what if you just lose it? It's always smart to have backup because you have to have clean water. So we take a couple of water purification tablets with us. It's not that heavy and it's totally worth it because water is essential. All right, Swiss Army knife. The most basic of all Swiss Army knives. We really don't need a full-featured knife because they get heavy really quick. This thing is tiny. It's got a little toothpick, little tweezers on the end, and it's just got your basic blade and your file, flathead setup, and a tiny pair of scissors on the other side. That's it, just this right here. This is just handy to have around. Last thing in the bag I have is some hydrocortisone cream. If you have any minor skin irritation, rashes, or itches that occur for any reason, this is gonna help it be a lot more tolerable. What is this? 1 ounce, so it's not that big. It looks a little bulky, but the actual weight of this is, it's lighter than it looks for sure. Definitely worth having. So those are the things that we found the most important that we want to make sure that we have with us. I mentioned earlier that I wanted to talk about a little bit about refilling the bags. One of the things that I went ahead and did is in the notes on my phone, I made a master list of everything in this kit, and I made a master list of how many need to be in there. That way it's just like a parring system. When I come back, I can take everything out of the bag, count how many I have, count how many I want to have, add back in, good to go, never short. Never accidentally getting out on trail and being like, oh, I forgot this and this is the first time I've needed it. It's always topped up, it's always ready to go. So I couldn't recommend that more. That's just an easy way to not make a mistake. If there's any good ideas that you have from your med kits or things that you're like, whoa, how do you not have this? I would definitely like to know because I might just add it. Go ahead and put those in the comments. Let's get the community involved, see if we got any good ideas coming out of there. And guys, make sure that you give us a like, subscribe if you like what you're hearing. We really want you to be able to see our content as much as possible. And as always, keep adventuring.